Hi, everybody. Welcome to Work in Industry. I always want to call this class ergonomics because it's really pretty much ergonomics and ergonomic principles. Okay, so what we're going to be doing with this first one is just going over the syllabus, the general stuff in the class, and when things are due and that sort of stuff. This class is kind of based on two basic things. It's based a lot on three basic things, actually. It's based on my experience in ergonomics, just briefly what that's about. When I was at Penobscot Community Health and Counseling outpatient facilities there, I did a, I did, sorry, just as a new system here. I started the ergonomics program there. With HR, we started the workstation assessment program there. So I did a zillion workstation assessments on doctors and nurses and administrative assistants and dental hygienists as well. And then I also did workstation assessments when I was at Community Health and Counseling and all the administrators. I was on part of the ergonomics board with HR. And in addition, I also have certification through the Back School of Atlanta. They have an ergonomics certification program. I did the levels 1 and level 2 with them. And then thirdly, this class is based on AOTA principles, as well as Craig Williamson, the two slender books that you have to purchase. A lot of his principles around full body movement, that sort of thing is a big part of this class. Again, looking at the full body movement, how the person, when they're doing work, related task, work-related injuries, it's a full body thing as we're kind of hitting on that in upper extremity. It's not just, their hand or their elbow or their shoulder. It's usually their whole body when they're attempting to do tasks. And you really have to look at the whole body, as we'll start to get into today, look at the whole body to see, what the issue is. Okay, so let's just jump, if I can, to the syllabus. Okay, so this is the week-to-week part of the syllabus. You're familiar with this format from my classes in the spring and way back. But everything is different this year, as we know, with the COVID stuff and all that. So with this, as you know, the lecture is online. What we're doing here says Zoom, but I'm using Screenomatic. I tried the Zoom and having some issues with that. So using this Screenomatic, narrating the PowerPoint like I'm doing. And in the lab, as you know, it's going to be in person with the small groups every Thursday. Today, this is what we're doing today, and this is the reading that goes with today. I really urge you to do this reading. It will help with the PowerPoint and the narration that I'm going to get into, and make that a lot more easy to understand, able to grasp that. So that's how it goes. And then next week, week 2, when you come in a week from this Thursday, 9/10, you'll have a quiz. It's your first quiz, and it will be based on the lecture questions. You're going to get lecture questions today, a few of them for the PowerPoint, not too much, and then you're going to get a full boat of them for next week's online lecture PowerPoint. So you need to know those PowerPoints well before, repeat that, before you come into the lab on Thursday, because you'll be expected to know all that and know it well enough to do well in these quizzes. I'll go back and I will answer all those lecture questions at the end of the narration of the PowerPoint. So you'll be able to get those questions. I'll also be available, I think I'm probably going to have like a Tuesday virtual Zoom meeting time. You could always jump in or whenever if you have questions about the lecture questions, because you want to know those good, because you're going to be quizzed on those every Thursday, at least for the first 3 weeks. I think it is 2 through 4. Also due next Thursday is part 1 on the exercise checklist. Check that out on Canvas. It's basically exercises you need to do every week. Put a little X in the box, tells me that you've done the exercise. Probably go over this. We'll go over this in lab. Do the exercises together in lab. That's something you have to do every week. Is those exercises, and it kind of goes on week to week. The case study review, I'll give you that. I'll talk about that It's not due 9/17. It's due after the lab 9/17. You need to get that done early so I can review it so you're ready for the exam, because we're going to do all of reviewing of the exam week for the midterm exam on week 4. And the midterm is week 5. A lot of that basic assessment material, the Williamson stuff, hope to get down in those first 4 weeks so we can start applying it in the second part of the class to all these different high-risk work professions. Grocery store assignment, we'll talk more about that. Basically what it is, you're going to a grocery store and you're observing a lot of the ergonomic issues with the people that work there. You have all your reading questions, those are all posted. And you have these job assessments. There's 3 parts to the job assessment. So with this, you need to pick a job. It could be a job you're working on currently, one you've done in the past, one you're very familiar with, somebody in your family has done, but it needs to be a job, of your choice. It needs to be a job with a degree of physical challenge to it. Any restaurant job is usually good. Factory, landscaping, fishing, outdoors kind of stuff. Think physicality to a job. A clerk in a store, sitting all day, running a cash register or something that's not too physically challenging, hard to do. Not to administrative assistant. You're going to be doing that later on. I wouldn't do that either. That's kind of hard to do. So you need to get your job, whatever you choose for your job, pre-approved. So you need to get your job pre-approved for me to make it work for your job assessment. And then the workstation assessment. This can be on anybody. Home workstation assessment, or we can go to their office if you do good precautions, social distancing. You're basically assessing the workstation, doing assessments on them, that sort of thing. And we have practicums in this class towards the end, which kind of combines with some of the upper extremity stuff around repetitive motion, work-related injuries, and then the final exam. And then if we move up, try not to make you dizzy. This is how much everything is weighted in this class. The exams, the practicums, just kind of a lot of different things in this class. Again, get things in on time. Make sure it's posted correctly to Canvas. If it isn't posted correctly, could be potentially late. You're losing 5 points every day, so you could lose potentially 35 points in a week. So double check. Please, please, please double check to make sure your posting went through into Canvas. And then lastly, office hours, trying to get a hold of me. Email. When you have a question, first email. That's your best bet. And that doesn't work, we can Zoom. I have Tuesdays and Fridays open pretty much along with the weekend. I work every weekend, so email me anytime during the weekend. That'll work. Yeah, we can set up a time with that. So we really want to thank email and Zooming. I love the popping in and chatting and all that. Can't really do that. This office is just too small. So try the email first if you can and see if we can resolve that. And we can do a quick Zoom whenever to make that work. Just don't be afraid to ask questions. It's really important to ask questions with a lot of the assignments and stuff. People that ask questions do well. So make sure you keep asking those questions. You're going to need both those books for the assignments. The gig book, very cheap online. Those stories we're using for that, and then some of that stuff from my book, a little bit of that stuff from my book. Hopefully you have. There's a copy in the library, I think, if you need to get that. Okay. And that is pretty much that, I believe.